Yeah, how you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, we had a week up to West Point, and we go back this Monday. Back up there Sunday. Yeah. Thanks for hosting me.
Gotta wait for this.
Hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, it's great. What's the name of your worker again?
Yeah. So, okay, sounds good.
Oh, it does.
Right, yes, exactly.
Hey, Mark, it looks like my share is not working right. As I shared, I saw it on YouTube, and it was just a black screen. Can you see it? Is it showing up okay now? Hey, Mark, it looks like my share is not working right.
Yeah, I'm
As
seeing
I
the
shared,
openings.
I saw it on YouTube.
Oh, now I see black. Okay. Huh.
Okay, it was okay.
I
Hold on a
initially
second.
initially I saw the opening screen, but then it went black.
Okay, all right, let's see about now.
I see the opening screen, a little black spot at the top.
At
Now
the
it's
top,
wide
right, okay.
open. I've got the whole thing
All right,
wide
sounds
open.
good.
Yep.
Right. Okay, all right, thanks. I want to
Now I've
switch.
got a gray thing at the bottom. There are these gray patches that keep popping up.
Yeah, because I keep bringing up my my toolbar.
Oh, got it. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. I'm going to switch mics now.
Are you sitting here?
I think the table's reserved. I'm just gonna sit on this chair
For
here.
who?
I'm meeting at 9 o'clock.
Oh, no, I need a.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chuck. Where are you?
At home. I had COVID last week.
Boy. Okay.
Just a mild case.
Feeling better then?
Oh yeah, I feel fine. I got a little bit of a cough, but got to, stay home for the required amount of days.
Yep. Better than coughing on a bunch of other people.
Yeah. One crazy guy.
I go to Houston to watch the game.
Oh.
The Eagles were the Phillies.
Right, yeah, that was Thursday, right? Thursday they played us, right? Well, the Eagles did a good job.
Yeah, they're hanging in. They got good chemistry.
Yeah.
They must have some good coaching.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the weekly meeting for the Rotary Club of Harleysville. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Like
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of all the things we say and do. Is it the
Is it the
truth?
truth? Is it fair to all concerned?
Will
Will
it
it
build
build goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships?
Be
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And our reflection this morning is from Frank Romano.
Heavenly Father, you have set the seasons in motion, and we are confident that one will follow the other. Hope that you will bless the members of this Rotary Club. Also be consistent, and able to serve those that can always count on us every week. We ask you to lead us, inspire us, and bless us. Always pray in your name.
Amen.
Well, good morning. We want to make sure we welcome our guest, Bruce Hevener. Bruce, welcome back. Bruce, we're pretty close to calling you a guest in transition, I think. Yes.
He's already after me.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming back. Oh, we have another guest this morning. Hi. Valerie, do you want to introduce your guest?
So I have Linda Sauer here this morning. She's also retired.
Hey.
She saw a picture of me and Lisa Rice on Facebook with our Rotary hoodies and reached out to say, hey, can I help? Can I serve? So this is her next thing.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's good.
So, usually the case, we don't subscribe, that's another story. But thank you so much. Yeah, I saw the picture, and honestly, I hadn't heard of the Rotary Club. I just had heard of phones. But so I Googled it, and some of her business people, I have to be working, and she's like, oh, I apologize for being late.
Welcome. So last Saturday, we had a great event for the Garden of Health. It was a beautiful weather. Maybe some of the runners thought it might be a little bit warm, but because it was a warm day that day. But we had a really good number of runners. The guy who finished was pretty amazing. I think it was like 21 or so minutes. He was very quick. One of my neighbors came, so it was great to see him. Do you want to have any comments, Carol, about the event?
I mean, it was great that, like you said, I mean, it was definitely much better weather than last year where we had the frost set in on us as we were setting up for the event. So we were quite happy with the warm, but the runners did not like the warm. We got some new people that, want to volunteer, some J&J people came out and ran. So yeah, we're looking forward to another good event next year. We thank John for coming out and helping out. And
Valerie's there.
I'm like, I know there was someone else. I'm like, where's she? Yes, Valerie, we're coming out helping.
Yeah, so it was a great day. So coming up on our calendar, coming up this week, this is going to be a busy weekend. You know, we've had a lot of talk about the foundation this month. It's Foundation Month. So there is a foundation seminar this Saturday. It is at Bucks County Community College, so it's a little bit of a commute. It is from 8 a.m. to noon. If you wish to register for that, you can visit the district website to register for that. So that'll be at Bucks County Community College. The annual Veterans Luncheon is this Saturday also, and that is at Souderton Area High School, and that will be from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. You know, I've mentioned this in previous meetings. I had an opportunity to visit that luncheon one year, and I was greatly impressed by listening to the veterans talk, you know, share their stories, to interact with, you know, they're having breakfast with some of the high school students too, and, you know, sharing their experiences with them. And I mean, they set it up in the library and it was packed. It was a packed house. It was just amazing to see all the support for the veterans and to listen to the veterans come out and tell about their heroics for serving our country. The following weekend on November 19th, we'll have an Adopt a Highway Day, and that will be in the morning. And we'll be meeting at our typical spot, which is in the parking lot behind Harleysville Bank, right across from Hennings, and we're meeting at 8:30. We'll probably break up into a few groups, and we do from right at 63 there all the way out to Allentown Road. November 22nd this month is Foundation Day. And if you want to learn more about that event, you can, that is on the district website. So they're encouraging people to support the foundation. You know, if you want to begin your journey towards a Paul Harris Award, that might be a great idea to great date to mark down to kickstart that. Did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I could just say, people gave last week a kind of, random $2, whatever in here. We'll have to send it at the end. But if you want to make a gift of record, you can go online and do it. But I also have these contribution forms. What you'll need from me is the name of the district, the number of the district, number of the club. I give that to you. You send it in on your own, send your check, send your credit card information, and that'll go to your account. So that'll be over here. So, thanks to last week, you got about $70. It's just from loose change, and we'll keep it going.
Thank you, Steve. So for our guests, the foundation is, Steve, you want to give like a brief overview?
I think that we have a little video, do we?
Oh.
Okay, why don't we show that now?
You didn't get the video?
You just said me like, yeah, I can find it.
All right, so I'm not good with videos, obviously getting the foundation is the Rotary mechanism for raising money to do good in the world. And the way it works is that club members and clubs donate to this foundation. They essentially hold the money for 3 years, which allows them to get a little interest to cover overhead. And then in 3 years, the money goes back into the world to do good through projects, through clubs, through districts. We've had some projects here. Garden of Health has been the recipient of the Sebastian Riding Station. We get matched and we do something good in the community. So it's always rated high on the Charity Navigator. 90+% goes back into projects. It's vetted. All projects that are international, which we could do with other clubs in another country, again, are vetted. They're what is this sustainable and so on. And through that, we have, oh, look.
Alone, we can only do so much. But together, progress is boundless. Together, we provide training and resources to people and communities, growing local economies, supporting education, and promoting peace. Together, we help those who need us the most, preventing diseases, providing clean water, sanitation and hygiene, and supporting mothers and their children. Together, we make a difference. And it is all thanks to you. Rotary members, we challenge ourselves to do better. Only looking back to see how far we have come. Last year, more than $430 million was contributed to the Rotary Foundation. Because of you, over 1,190 global grants, 470 district grants, and 225 disaster response grants were funded. And over $15 million was donated to support refugees from Ukraine. Thank you for supporting the Rotary Foundation and all you do on behalf of others. Because of you, together we can do even more good.
Short to the point. I would just add that the Rotary Foundation also includes the money that goes polio plus. So all the efforts to eradicate polio, that all goes to the Rotary Foundation. When you go online and you see the form, you can get to the annual fund, which supports the grants, or you can give to Polio Plus, which supports those efforts, or you can give to the foundation endowment, which establishes an endowment, you know what that means for a charitable organization. So those are the three possibilities. If you go online, it's just www.rotary.org/give. But if you get to the org, they'll have the donate button that you'll hit, and it'll tell you all the ways to give. So my sermon's over.
Amen.
Pass the plate.
Thank you, Steve. Carol, did you want to talk about that thing we talked about at the Saturday for the young man? Because it's going to be a good opportunity for our club. You know, a few months ago, there was a big networking event at the brewery in Hatfield, I forget the name of it. And there was a young man there who is in the North Penn School District. He has special needs. And he was very charismatic, this young man, speaking in front of a group of adults, talking about what he does to raise funds. He does has a candle making business, I think.
Yeah, he has a candle company in Harleysville. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. And it's Dog's Pepper. Shane and Pepper. Right, so Shane has cerebral palsy and he has a service dog, and I've seen him, the service dog, he's been walking, that sort of stuff. He's also recently had a stroke. So now he is, as cerebral palsy has gotten worse, so he's now pretty much wheelchair bound. So their family is trying to raise money for a wheelchair accessible van, but they also need to make adaptations to their house for him to be able to get around with his wheelchair and stuff. So I just thought, well, maybe that's something that like our Rotary Club, Lansdale's Rotary Club, because I do know that they're in Lansdale because I've seen them out and I got Pendale sometimes. I know he goes to that school. And the business he runs, they hire other individuals with disabilities. So, and like John said, he's out in public. I've seen him in other pictures with the chamber out doing networking events and stuff with the chamber. So they just, like the mom was on the computer and she kind of ranted and people were like, look, put it out there. The public will rally around you. And hopefully they do have a GoFundMe account for raising the funds for the van. They're looking to get a 2022 Toyota Sierra. They're working with a dealer in Lansdale, and all equipped. It's going to cost them $80,000. So they're looking to raise funds for that. And then, you know, she mentioned that they're going to have to do some moving the walls and opening up doorways and stuff. He's 120 pounds. The husband now has to lift him out of his wheelchair to put him into a van, then put his wheelchair in the back of the car. And now the mom's like, I can't lift him. Like, she's my size. She's like, I can't pick him up and lift him to do this. So this has all happened pretty quickly with them, from him going from being mobile to now not being mobile.
Thank you, Carol. So, you know, maybe we might be able to discuss that further in the board meeting to see if we might have an opportunity where we might be able to provide some sort of support in that situation. Thank you. Anybody have any? Yes, Karen.
So we got a we got a card about the croquet tournament.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to read it to you. This is, if you don't know, we did the croquet tournament to raise money for the Keystone Opportunity Center. We raised $9,000. It's going to go to there, and the church did allow us to play with our field. But we did it in memory of Brad Anderson. Brad Anderson was my partner in croquet for a few years, and he died at 40 years old. So his mother sent us a card, and it's all done in his memory. She sent a card. She addressed it to Lisa and I and the club. Our family was so touched by the tournament in honor of our precious Brad. It was a glorious day, filled with wonderful stories and memories, and very well organized by such kind people. I believe you have created some new croquet enthusiasts. I love that. Right? Thank you for your efforts and for your friendship with Brad. You can see why he loved playing and being with all of you. Sincerely, Linda Bishop. So that's to club. This club with the organization and carrying it through. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, that was I mean, for our first event, I mean, that was pretty spectacular. And I think that's certainly going to be one of our marquee events going forward. Anyone have anything that or questions about anything that we discussed on the calendar or any other events that we want to make sure we, yes.
I just had one, we sort of announced it previous times, but if anybody is interested in donating to local Toys for Tots, Barbara Jansen, yes, Barbara Jansen is in charge of it still, even though she retired from the local township. If you would like more information, I kind of said, well, I want to donate again, and I'd be willing to pick up donations from the club if you want to bring them. But they especially need toys for games and things like that for older children, not for the little ones, but they need also like sensory type of toys for children who might have some kind of sensory issues, and then just for older children like 8 and up. So the final collection week is 12/9. So if you're interested in donating, you can ask me more details, or I can give you Barbara's name. I'd certainly be willing to be a pickup point if anybody wants to bring it to one week. So I'll take them to her in Lansdale or Sellersville. Sellers. No, she has that Sellersville is where their warehouse is.
She has a warehouse. I believe she has a new warehouse in Sellers.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured it's
Is Mark on?
Yes.
I think Mark is Barbara's on our speaker schedule. Yes.
She's not on the schedule when I talked to, but I'm efforting. When I talked to her at the community fair, the Halloween event, she had said that she would love to speak again and was going to give me a call. And then I just reached out to her a few days ago because I hadn't heard from her. So I know she's super busy, but I know she was interested in speaking to us and trying to do that in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, next up is going to be Rotary Trivia.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. All right. Not yet. What? Sorry. Cue the booth. Technical difficulties. Hold on. And there we go. I'll let you know.
Live. I'm your announcer, Larry Moss. Here we go. Bill Texas.
Start by telling the audience about the stage.
Grand prize.
I'll ask the audience to direct their attention to our spokesperson, Carol Bauer. For Thanksgiving, today's contestant is playing for a beautifully decorated sign reminding everyone to give thanks. Perfect for your wall or door. It will bring the spirit of the season to your home. Oh wait, there's more. So you can hang the sign just the right place. We're adding your very own hook. Retail value of today's grand prize. Well, if we told you, you wouldn't believe it. See what I did there?
Yeah. Good roll. I'm not sure they got it, but yeah, good roll. Just spell that out for it. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. You know, a prize like that is certainly a sign of the times. And how about introducing?
They're all
today's
eating now.
contestant?
They're not paying attention
No,
anymore.
Today's contestant will be selected at random from our studio audience just moments ago. The correct answer of this Rotary will rake in the lead. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for Frank Romano.
Right. Wait. Oh, okay. There you go. You don't have one, do you? You don't have one of those, do you?
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay. Bring someone else up. Just to make sure. You really had somebody else, yeah. Anyway, here's today's question. How is Harry Ruggles best known to Rotary? Harry Ruggles, is he in the room? Is he present? Let's see. He brought singing to Rotary. First international club president. He initiated the Rotary Foundation. He was the 1 millionth Rotarian. So what do you think?
I'm in trouble here.
It is November.
Well, we
right?
do have our lifeline.
Well,
Yes, a friend of 50-50.
Well, I know it's, I'll probably go to the audience here, but I know it's not C. And I don't think it's B. So it has to be A or D.
You know it's not C.
So I've done my own 50-50.
Okay,
So-
that's right.
So given that, now I can go to the audience.
Now you can go to the audience. Okay, so Frank is eliminating, let's see here, C
And B.
and B. So, audience, what do you think? Is it A? Did he bring singing to Rotary?
You should.
A good choice.
All right.
A good choice.
All right. Hey,
How about, was he the 1 millionth Rotarian?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that one.
That was a lot of help.
Yeah, that.
Where's the ask Frank on there?
Well, you're gonna ask Frank, right? You have a friend,
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
you might want to ask?
I think I'll go with A.
A, brought singing to Rotary.
Yes.
Okay, he defies the audience, but let's see what it is. And yeah, A is the smile answer. Okay, there you go. We know what's that. So 1 million, or did he bring singing to Rotary? And he did. He brought singing to Rotary. And this guy is actually a little bit more significant in a couple ways. Well, yeah, but wait, there's more, obviously. And here he is, Harry Ruggles. He's known as the 5th Rotarian. There were the first 4, but Lord and Sheely, Shorey, and Paul Harris. I guess they were the first 4. He was the 5th. He was a printer there. But a big piece of it is, and this is how the singing piece came. One of the early meetings after he was on, he was at the second meeting. You could see where he had maybe heard the speaker, where things could get a little bit off color, not appropriate for a meeting. And before this story, he heard the speaker, before he could get started, he jumped up and started, come on, let's sing, just to sort of get away from this notion that it would be a meeting of, I'm not going to say swearing, cussing, offhand, smoking cigars, and, you know, he wanted the meetings to sort of fall into a character of a woman, a lady could attend, and there would be no offense, and kind of keep it that way, as opposed to, as I said, a good old boys kind of meeting of fun, you know, off-color jokes, things of that nature. So he did that. He was the 50s thing, and also the wheel. He was a printer by trade, and so he was
elected or actually designated the club printer, but he started the first emblem, the Rotary wheel with the Rotary Club up above. So the guy actually has done a couple things, being the fifth Rotarian, being singing, and I think Souderton, they still sing. Not too many clubs sing anymore. Do they sing? Yeah, it used to be much more prevalent. But that was the case. But anyway, you are a winner. It's there. Did you get the hook too?
Yes, I do. I have that. I have it right here too.
Okay, very good. We'll run home. And then stop that. Actually, Steve, you got to write the script from now on. All right, thanks for playing.
Thank you.
The Rotary song. R-E-T-A-R-Y. That spells Rotary. It was Jack. Yeah, there was a time, and Jack Brent, who was, a charter member, he kind of tried to introduce singing to Rotary. He had a couple songs and things that just didn't really quite catch on. People weren't really. Couldn't sing. Well, we could sing. I guess that was the piece of it. So it didn't really happen. Yeah, that was one of the songs. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil and Larry, and congratulations, Frank. So I'm sending a new agenda item for future meetings. We'll talk about that for another. We don't have a speaker today. We do have a list for classification talks if anyone would be interested in doing a classification talk this morning.
Bill. No, I didn't that. I didn't jump up the phone.
No? Okay. I can talk if you want. I think it's actually been a long time since I've done one because I think I did one when I first joined the club. So I think what I'll do is I'll give you a quick background of myself, talk a little bit about how I got to here and how what really was what really piqued my interest in being a member of this club. So I guess I'll start out. I don't know, if you've ever seen me in a short sleeve shirt, you might or may not have noticed that last year I got my first tattoo. And it is a tattoo of the state of Illinois with the number 1965 on it because I was born in Illinois in 1965. My dad went to Delaware Valley College. I think when he first enrolled there, it was still called the National Farm School. And he graduated there in 1962. He and my mom are from New Jersey, like central New Jersey, and they got married. And then my mom moved out to Illinois with my dad when he was studying for his graduate work and his PhD. Upon his graduation, we moved right back to Bucks County, and my dad was a college professor at Delaware Valley College for his whole career. Teaching biology, I think he taught ornithology, genetics, and a lot of environmental courses. He was chairman of a few departments. When I went to school there, studying business administration, he was the dean of academic affairs. So it's always kind of heartwarming to me that my diploma is signed by my dad. So I grew up over in Bucks County for many years. My parents lived on Keeley Avenue in New Britain, which is right by the covered bridge. There's a couple houses up from that. Then we moved to Buckingham in 1975, and most of my, I guess I'll call them my formative years in Buckingham. And then my parents moved progressively to Plumstead, to Bedminster, and then when they decided they didn't want to do a whole lot of yard work anymore, they moved to a small retirement community right behind High Point, what's called the Philadelphia Athletic Club in Chalfont. And they still reside there now. So I went to Delaware Valley College, like I mentioned. I graduated in 1988. And when I was a senior, I worked part-time at the YMCA in Doylestown as a fitness instructor. I even taught in aerobics class there. And my future wife came in to have an appointment to learn how to use the equipment and to her, that was kind of a frivolous affair because, she's very athletic. She really didn't have to want to have to deal with somebody to learn how to work out in a gym because she knew her way around a fitness facility. But we went to the same high school, but we weren't necessarily in the same social circles. We both were athletic in high school. My wife was in National Honor Society and very studious. I'm going to say I had what I would call or categorize as other interests. It was the 80s. So when she walked in, I recognized her right away. And we started chatting. And it kind of stunned her at first because she recognized me, or she really didn't know who I was. So we talked as we walked around the gym that evening. And then at the end of our appointment, probably one of the cheesier lines you've ever heard in your life, how would you like to continue this conversation over dinner sometime? So that's how it all started. We were both in relationships at the time. So we got married in 1991 and first moved to the Spring Mountain Townhomes in Schwenksville. Nobody in my family knew where Schwenksville was, so I had to explain, it's kind of wedged between the Limerick nuclear power plant and the Grateford prison. And then in 1999, we moved to Harleysville, and we've been here ever since. We have 2 children. Our son, Jake, is 28. He lives in the Fairmount section of Philadelphia with his wife, Dishle. And as many of you know, she is from Turkey. They met while they were at Drexel University. And, we had 2 weddings for them, one in my mother-in-law's backyard in what I'll call the heat of COVID, because we only had a few people in our backyard. I think we had about 12. And then we had a second ceremony in Turkey in September of this year. So they're doing very well. Our daughter Caroline is living at home with us still. She's just finishing up an internship at Morris Arboretum, and she was very involved in a study that the state of Pennsylvania is doing regarding bee populations. Surveying bee populations, the different types of bees in the Arboretum, different populations of certain types of bees in the Arboretum. And she's actually doing a talk on that today at the Arboretum as part of her internship. So she's learned a lot. We learn a lot because she's always telling us interesting things about what's going on in the environmental community in our area. For many years, employment-wise, for many years, I worked at Teva Pharmaceuticals right in Montgomeryville. And when they moved their North American headquarters to northern New Jersey, my job stayed there, but I had survivor's guilt because so many people that I worked with for so many years had to choose to leave the company because they didn't want to move or commute 2 hours to Parsippany. I had developed a friendship with George Foring over the years. He's the founder of Custom Craft, where I work now. So he and his wife and my wife and I have been friends for many years, and they were looking for someone else to come in and do some sales things for them because they're getting a lot of interest in their work, and they needed someone else to kind of field their calls and things like that, and help them to build, expand their business, I'll say, because they've been in business for 40 years. So I joined Custom Craft almost exactly a month before the lockdown. So that was an interesting transition. I think in the beginning of that, I was doing a lot of things like networking. I joined a networking group with the Chamber of Commerce that meets once a week in Bluebell. And that's where I met himself over here, Dan. And he was in my networking group. And one day when we were at the meeting, he slid this little business card across the table to me and said, come join our Rotary meeting. So I came to my first meeting. We were still meeting at Peter Becker. Gary was the president at the time. And I remember one of the first meetings I came to, Bev Weinberg spoke. And she, is very charismatic and passionate about what she does. And I was just super impressed talking to the people at the table that I was sitting with, listening to what the things that were on the agenda, obviously listening to Bev talk, and I think got everybody jazzed up. But I just thought that was fantastic. So I pretty much joined right away. And then sometime during the pandemic, when Dan was able to keep our club going strong virtually, I rose my hand at one of the meetings and then became vice president, and then here I am now. So, you know, it's been a fantastic year so far. I mean, like I keep talking about, some of these events that we've done this fall, we've had pretty much kind of 3 big major events. Our golf tournament was very successful. And, you know, interestingly, there were many golf tournaments going on this fall. And I did hear a lot of people talking about not registering for certain tournaments because of the cost of the tournament. And the price that we have, the price point that we have set for our tournament is one of the things that makes our tournament very attractive. I think that's part of the reason why we had a very successful event. Obviously, the charisma around croquet is what made that tournament very successful. And, you know, we made a big investment in that croquet tournament this year, and that's going to pay dividends as we move forward in that event in future years. So that's going to really be a pretty big fundraising event for us. And same thing with the Holiday Fun Fest. You know, this was our 2nd year doing the Fun Fest. Each year, you know, we have little baby steps of things that we are learning that we're using for the next year in 2023. And that was an amazingly successful event. I mean, we were blessed with great weather. We had a great turnout. I really think the community really appreciated and enjoyed that event. And, you know, moving forward, that's, you know, we keep having those 3 events in the fall. I mean, we're going to be able to do great things for our community because of that. Oh, my wife. My wife worked in the technology industry for many years. She's worked for SAP for 15 years, and she's in like a sales and marketing position. So what her role is involved in their sales academy. So she helps bring young people into SAP, getting them into these sales roles where they're selling, you know, millions of dollars of software to really big corporations. And she's doing a lot of coaching with these young people, and they kind of rely on her when they are in tough situations. She's going to retire December 31st, and she's going into another role where she's going to be able to work kind of part-time doing coaching for corporations having to do with listening skills, workshops on listening skills. So she's very excited about that because the big corporate SAP environment is really taxing. The workload is pretty crazy, although she's been able to do some great traveling. I've been able to go on her coattails a couple times, which is fun because that's been nice too. Aside from that, we have 2 cats, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And some of you know, part of my busy year this past year, beginning of the year, I spent almost every weekend from maybe February till April going to school on Saturday and Sunday to get my commercial driver's license. So I'm going to be hopefully putting that to use when I am semi-retired. So maybe that'll happen sometime in the next 2 to 3 years. Does anybody have any questions?
Was that semi because of the truck or?
Yeah.
I saw the airport like semi.
Well, if I retire from doing what I'm doing now, I don't anticipate myself not having something to do. So that's and the reason why I wanted to get that license was to be able to support small businesses in my community in something that I like to do. I like driving. So, I wanted to learn that skill. And I've said this a number of times, once I learned to parallel park a tractor trailer, I'm way better at it with my car. Yeah. Any other questions?
You said George Ford?
I'm sorry?
George Ford?
Yes. Yep.
You know, that's okay. Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he's an LC guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I learned. LC guys are like Penn State people. They all know each other. Yeah.
I said hello.
I will. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Aside from that, I'm an outdoorsy kind of person. My wife and I like to kayak, like to hike. We've been on a couple of big backpacking trips. One of the bigger ones that we went on, we backpacked the Grand Canyon. So you start at the rim, you go down. What's interesting about the Grand Canyon is when you're in the canyon, you can go sideways. So there's lots of plains and plateaus that you can hike across inside the canyon. So we took our time, we took like maybe 3 days to get to the bottom because we went sideways for quite a while. But the last day we hiked from the Colorado River all the way back out to the rim. And, with 35 or 40 pounds on your back, it took like 6.5 hours. The biggest challenge with that was you really had to be careful of monitoring your water because you did not want to run out of water before you got to the top. Because when you get close to the top and you see day tourists coming down, even these people are just totally unprepared for that environment. And you see a lot of people who would run out of water just doing like a 20-minute climb to the bottom. Because when you get down to the vantage point, guess what? You've got to hike back up to the parking lot. So it was really kind of interesting. Interesting to see the mule trains come down to take supplies down to the camp down at the bottom. I forget what it's called, the Phantom Ranch it's called. And crazy thing is you see people running down, they do rim to rim, people running down the trail in jogging shorts and things like that. One false move and there's no saving you. Yeah. So, but it was beautiful. Obviously, it's great at night. So it was a great experience. Okay. Thank you very much. And if you do I guess we can go on to brags and sags. Yes, Frank.
For those that were watching the Phillies in their last game, I didn't, but I found out later that my son did see the broadcasting because he was down there. And in the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th inning, they gave a call out to some of their technical people, and they mentioned my son there. And it was he's doing his last World Series that he'll be doing because he and a few other people he had a promotion. If you don't know how that works, the trucks that are there, okay, they're not owned by like Fox or ESPN or anything. They outsource those and the people to run that, not the people doing production and so on. Those are their Fox people and so on. But my son works for a thing called NEP, and they get he's in charge of all those trucks. Different things I mentioned before about the Olympics and so on. But it was really neat to hear the replay. We have the thing on it. And a number of our neighbors in that area, they were saying, did you hear? Unfortunately, I was watching, but I didn't hear that. Probably because I don't listen to commentators. I usually have it on. But anyway, it was kind of exciting for him, and he's moving on now. He's responsible for all the soccer, all the major league soccer, and the tennis, all the tennis, and that's what his. It was really neat to hear.
Excellent. Yes.
This is a brag and a sag, and it's in solidarity with our friends in Germany. November 9th. November 9th, 1938 was Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. They broke into synagogues, they broke into the Jewish people's homes. That's November 9th. November 9th, brag for it, was also the day that they decided they're going to stop enforcing the borders. The picture of all of them standing up on top of the wall, that was November 9th. Made possible by the peaceful revolution. People had gathered in Leipzig and other cities every Monday night for peace prayers. And on October 3rd in Leipzig, they filled the St. Nicholas Church, and the people went out on the streets, candles, saying, peace. And Stasi decided not to go after them. And that was kind of a symbol that, guess what? Time has come. So November 9th, about a month later. But anyway, November 9th, there'll be services in Germany today, remembering the Holocaust and that tragedy, but also a sense of a wall.
Yes, Jerry.
I have a brag and a sag. Brag is, last Thursday, I became a grandfather again. And she's doing well, but the sad part of it is that mother and daughter had to go back in the hospital last Saturday. Leave her coming home today. Some kind of issue with blood pressure with the mother. They can't get it under control. That could be a really serious problem. Hopefully, if she's coming home, that it's in control. I'll find out later with my nurse wife, because she's supposed to be there twice a day to take blood pressure, to log it in. So,